I put it in. I put it in the Discord already.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. And welcome to the Redeye stream. This is spur of the moment. I saw Trump's speech. I've seen 3 other people's reaction. I have my own. And of course, I had to bring the evil mastermind, the one that will completely eviscerate the Penguins. That's a good thing. But after that, he's coming for us. First, it was the Penguins. Then it was the Dolphins. Then the Seagulls.
The Dolphins are the penal colony.
Yeah.
They go. They should have been executed.
Yep. So you have to do the job.
The space dolphins should have taken care of them correctly to begin with.
Hey, true.
We were the indigenous population, and they inflicted the dolphin rapists on us.
The dolphin nemesis. You know, when I was growing up, everybody said how awesome dolphins were. Remember that?
Do I remember? Are you kidding?
You remember, like, seriously, like the 90s and 80s? Everybody's like,
the 90s,
oh,
80s.
They kill fucking sharks. They're great.
Yeah, the 90s and the 80s. Hell, in the 70s and the 60s, you had Flipper.
Oh, God, yeah. I remember.
I'm sure you remember the reruns.
Well, yeah, I loved Gilligan's Island also, and that was all reruns, you know. But that was a lighter note. But okay, military locking down DC tonight, so that's a thing. That's immediate already. For a few hours now, actually, looking at the time on the West Coast. The protesters /
they're not protesters
/ arsonists / murderers / whatever. They say they're in open rebellion. They've said that it's a revolution. It's not a revolution because you didn't create a governmental body and go for redress and do the proper steps. Even me, I'm a freaking secessionist, and you didn't do this right. Okay? You fucked up. My comparison here, MC, Whiskey Rebellion. Thoughts immediately, and then I'll tell you why, but I think it's pretty obvious why.
What was the Whiskey Rebellion? Whiskey Rebellion was a tax revolt saying that the federal government doesn't have the right to tax us.
It was, but overall, it was armed citizens tearing. Well, they didn't necessarily tear stuff up. They marched on the capital, though, of the state, right? Or no,
they did attempt it, and it was put down with federal troops.
And that is the comparison, is the troops here and the rebellion aspect, where I would argue that the Civil War was not a rebellion. You will argue it was a rebellion. I will argue they had a governmental body and they survived for years.
You just said that you have to have a governmental body, so it's not a rebellion.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's a rebellion.
So
it
these
was a
guys,
rebellion then, and it doesn't matter.
So these guys, I don't know. Would you put the troops down every major city? I mean, because the governor of Oregon has been ignoring the mayor of Portland, who's also a lefty, but he has asked repeatedly for National Guard, and she has ignored him. She will not activate the Guard. The president will tomorrow, I bet you. So
I wouldn't bother activating the Guard. I'd activate freaking troops, and I'd put freaking tanks on the streets. I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah, okay, so I've heard a lot of different perspectives here. High Impact Flicks, oh my God, he has declared war on America. He's going to pepper spray everybody and tear gas everybody for standing on their porches. And that's the extreme, and cap perspective. The lefties are the ones rioting, so they're probably screaming the same shit. But every conservative or Republican I watch, they are screaming good, about time. And I know that's probably where you're at because I've heard you talk and I've talked to you about it. But is there a middle ground here at all?
No. What's the middle ground? You can't have law without order. You no longer have order.
Yeah,
what you have going on, it doesn't matter. You don't have law without order. What middle ground are you going to take?
Okay, well, why have the cops out there at all if they're just standing down? I've seen videos of cops watching these looters.
What the cops are doing is immaterial now. What the local police force does is immaterial now. You have demonstrated that the local police cannot quell this, cannot stop this. Okay, now it's time for military action. This whole idea of policing anymore, this whole idea of, well, police, we're gonna protest and we're protesting the police, and so that's gone. That ship sailed a long time ago. That ship sailed 2 days ago. When they attacked the White House and then came back the next day and attacked it again, and then I've got to listen to these freaking whiny little bitches on Twitter, all right, try and claim to me that, oh, we were just peacefully protesting. Nope, you were told now it's a curfew. You're not allowed to be on the streets. And if the police can't police, well, order's going to be maintained a different way.
Yeah, I get it. I don't want them tearing and burning shit down either. I'm with you on that. You know that. But the fact remains, troops walking down the street, if you're out after 7, what if it's 7:05 and my wife is driving home from Portland from a doctor's appointment for my son? Is she going to be detained? She's not a rioter.
She might be. Those are the rules. Understand this now. There is no. Let me try and push this a little bit here, or I was just this over there. Nope. You have hard, fast rules now. Live with them. And if she's out trying to drive home after hours, hopefully she gets home all right. I'm not going to have any freaking sympathy whatsoever anymore. This is beyond it. This is gone. There is no benefit of the doubt. This is a military lockdown at this point. The police, the police, the city, the governors, none of them wanted to put a stop to this. They let it go on and on and on. And then you have these people trying to whine about this. Well, I was just protesting peacefully. No, what you're doing is you're intentionally covering and willing human shields, all right, for the rioters and the looters. You know that's what you're doing. You're doing it intentionally. Don't come back and cry to me that you're just trying to protest. Because you're not. Everyone knows what this is now.
Okay. All right. One, that probably wouldn't happen because we have no reason to go to Portland right now, and we live in the middle of nowhere. I don't have a curfew or nothing. Matter of fact, Springfield didn't riot, but Eugene did. So now everybody from Eugene is going to Springfield to shop. It's ridiculous. The thing is, though, how long do you leave the military in for? And don't say until it's done, because it's never done. Antifa, you're never going to squash them all the way out. It's just like the Weather Underground. I bet you can find some old hippie fucking still in the Weather Underground.
No, I don't think Antifa is nearly as smart as the Weather Underground. They're not nearly as good as that. And what you do is until you establish order. That's what you're looking for.
You got to put a timetable on this. Even
No,
if
you do not put a time. You do not tell the enemy.
People, but internally, you have a timetable if you're the president.
Well, what you do is you sit up there and put a lockdown, and when people stop going out there and ignoring the curfew for a couple days, then you're like, okay, it's quelled. And then you release it slowly. That's how you handle it.
Just a minute.
You let the situation on the ground dictate what's going to happen at this point. Sounds like it's sounds brutal, sounds like everything else, right? But it is what it is. And this is what happens when you don't confront racism, when you encourage it, when you don't call it out. This is what happens. And then the lying begins. Oh, okay. These are peaceful protesters. They're just peaceful protesters. No, they're rioters.
Okay, so New York had the draft riots. They burnt down a good majority in New York. They had to bring the troops in. That was violently put down, and it took days. Is that the level we're at?
Yeah. We're getting there. We're not at that level because let's be honest, these soy boys aren't ready for the violence yet. They're getting ready to, though. They're going to push it. That's what this whole thing has been about. That's what the whole thing today was about in D.C. Oh, we're just peaceful. Look at us. And then the media is playing it up for everything that's worth, lying to the American people who these people are, not telling people that these people were told to leave, not telling people that these people were assembling unlawfully, all right, and that they were past the curfew. And they let them get forward and start pushing forward. And then what? Oh, look how tear gas is being thrown at us. Oh, no. Oh, the violence. We were just peaceful protesters. They're not peaceful protesters. They're rioters. And you do it until the riots are over. You engage in action until the riot is over. And even then, it's still, people think that, oh, that's martial law. It's still not martial law yet. He has not declared martial law. He's funding these people. His campaign staff is funding these people. His campaign staff is paying, when they got arrested, for these rioters. The ones that are being arrested, you know, the rioters and the looters, they're paying their bail. They're paying their legal fees. And you don't think that there's a civil war coming? This is the start of the Civil War. Now, whether or not it goes full bore from here or not, I'm not sure.
The Democrats don't have anything to gain from this. It's
sure they do.
Of their own party.
No, they're gaining from it right now. Look at how the media is playing it. Look at how everyone is talking
about the media anymore.
Who's nobody? I'll show you a whole slew of them on Twitter. All right, and I can go through YouTube and show you. There's not just that when you say there's nobody, there are millions. I had a guy trying to tell me that these people were just protesters. They're peaceful. 99% of the people are peaceful protesters. No, you're not. I said again and again. I said this one concept again and again. You know what you're there for. You know that they're violence. You know that the violence is coming, and you're there to provide cover for them. You know that that's what's going to happen. And yet you still go out there. Don't tell me you're out there to protest peacefully when you know that there's going to be people out there that are going to loot and riot. You're supporting it. Don't give me another bunch of bullshit anymore about this. And the DNC does believe that this is going to help them.
But it's not. They're destroying their own party because after they've already shown that after they lose big, which they will, they turn on each other, and they're creating this violent movement within even the establishment of the party, which is the real problem. They've always had the violent wing of it. They've always had the Weather Underground. They've always had the Marxists. They've always had that. Or before, they had the fucking Jim Crow and the fucking Southern Democrat wing, right? Wanted to enforce segregation and all that bullshit. They've always had an evil side to the Democrat Party. Always. But they're giving them even more power now. They're going to eat themselves. They're going to rip themselves apart. And
only if the American people stand up to it. Do you see the American people standing up to it? You see pockets here and there. Okay. But do you see the media? What's the media doing? The media still to this day doesn't want to sit up there and face racism. Doesn't matter which news outlet you're talking about. You had Fox News. You had a black person come on there, all right, one of these black professor-like people come on there and try and compare, and said, oh, these people are rioting and everything else. You're calling them rioters. Meanwhile, look at what they did in Michigan, doing a direct comparison of a truly peaceful protest, right, to rioting. And not one person on Fox News, not one person on CNN or MSNBC or CBS or ABC challenged that view because they don't want to face racism within the minority community. They don't want to call it out. And that's what you're dealing with.
Fuck that. Fuck that noise at this point. I mean, they're running around saying eat the rich and kill white people. Fuck you.
And you don't think that listening to all these people come out, you don't want to be doing this in our neighborhoods. Don't do it in our neighborhoods. And you see here and there, all right, people actually trying to take action to stop some of this stuff here and there. But has it stopped it? Has it done anything? Have the people said, wait a minute here, we're being made to look bad? Have they stepped back down?
Okay.
Let's be honest. Let's be perfectly honest here. Don't want to say. Let's be perfectly honest here. Anybody who tells me to sit up for Black Lives Matter, all right, isn't working with Antifa, all right, on how this all goes down. You're liars. The idea that this is not organized, they're already showing, all right, that they're laying pallets of bricks and gasoline in strategic areas. They're already showing it. Now, some of the places.
Is that them? Is that? I mean, I don't know.
A pallet of bricks in Phoenix, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I know I'm right, and I don't need people like Tim Pool to tell me I'm right. I don't need people like Tim Pool to sit up there and people like Tim Pool are a big part of the problem. Here's Tim Pool. He's been to these meetings. He knows who these people are. He knows who these planners are. Okay, this is what he was saying on one of his podcasts today, right? This is what he was saying on one of his little videos today. Okay, why didn't you name them? Why don't you tell us who these people are? Why don't you give us a name so that person is allowed to be held accountable? Because he doesn't really want to do that because they're friends of his. He knows who they are. He knows what they're doing. The leftists know who these people are. The vast majority of them, all right, have an organizational cue coming straight from the universities. We all know who this is. You had a university professor sitting up there telling people how to tear down the Washington Monument because she considers it a racist monument.
I don't believe they attacked the monument in Shreveport, but they got the Daughters of the Confederacy and headquarters in Richmond and burnt it to the ground. There was a lot of Civil War stuff there from both sides, a lot of documents.
There were areas in North Carolina. One area that was burned down was a museum because it used to be one of the places where slaves were sold, but it's now a museum dedicated to show people what it was like, and they burned it to the ground. They burned the courthouse of Nashville to the ground. All right, one of the historic monuments in all of the United States. And so you tell me what this is.
I told you it's an open rebellion.
Put it down.
I get your when you said foreign and domestic. I don't really have a argument there because you're right. I own the Constitution. I've read it many times. I know. Um, the thing is, though, I know it's been a week. Other riots have lasted longer and
No, they
short.
haven't.
The
Show
New
me a
York
riot that
one,
lasted longer.
the one in New
A
York,
regular riot. Not
the,
even the MLK riots lasted this long.
the draft riot lasted longer, I
No, it
believe.
didn't. It lasted for 2 to 3 days. All right, and then the military went in there, and 2 more days later, it was done. And these were troops that were just coming out of Gettysburg.
Okay. I don't remember exact days on the draft riots. I thought it was longer than that, but I might be wrong on that one.
Yeah, the draft riots don't last this long, and they're not this broad a scale. And what's more is riots are one thing. You have widespread looting taking place. There's no intention to even.
Well, wait.
Riot.
Widespread looting is like every riot.
No, it's not. There are widespread looting that you have going on right now is not part of every riot. Did you have widespread looting going on during the Rodney King riots? You had a lot of violence. You had a lot of stuff broken into and torched. All right, but you did not have a lot of looting.
There was looting. Sublime has a whole song about looting.
And there was a bit of looting, but not like what you've seen. You do not have roving gangs looking for stores just to break into and rob everything and then run. You did not have that going on. When violence was taking place nearby, did people then use that to grab stuff and then run? Yeah, that did happen. But you didn't have roving gangs that would move from target to target. And if the police showed up, would run to the next target. You did not have people go, let's go hit Rodeo Drive.
Yeah.
You don't have what's going on right now in New York, where they just broke down the doors and are raiding right now Macy's. The historical Macy's.
Is the mayor of New York sending out the police to stop them? Or is the governor fucking sending out
the mayor's freaking daughter was arrested for throwing things at the police?
Oh yeah, I saw that story. You're right. So he ain't doing shit.
They have no intention of stopping this. They've been stoking this for a long time, and there's a lot of people. I know that you don't want to believe this, but there's a lot of people who are looking for the race war. How are bricks getting there? There were images of trucks dropping them off, of equipment used to unload pallets. Yep. Here's a question. You had a group of people in San Francisco say, "Look at this place of pallets of bricks." So the police went out there and said, "Well, what was this about?" And they claimed, "Well, this is part of an HMO, all right, construction project." And then the police asked them nicely to move, instead of asking who paid for them. Instead of saying this is who paid for them, this is where they're at. Show me the construction permits that this is going to be used on. No. We're just going to, they at least removed the bricks. I'll give the police credit for that. But they didn't care. They didn't care to actually say, okay, well, we need to find out what the hell's going on with this.
Well, okay, so it can't. Is it truly the fact that these cities are ran by Democrats that they're the hotbeds? Because there's cities that aren't rioting that are still big cities, right?
Really? What city's not rioting?
I haven't heard anything about, I don't know, fucking You only hear about the big ones rioting. So honestly, I just figured a lot of them weren't. Buffalo, are they rioting in fucking Buffalo? I don't know.
I don't know about Buffalo. I haven't heard about Buffalo, but every one of the other areas, Syracuse and everything is rioting. I know that here in Tucson, you haven't seen much of a riot because Black Lives Matter couldn't get enough freaking interest into rioting out here in Tucson. All right. Although Phoenix, they rioted. Right. You have LA rioting. You have San Diego rioting. You've got San Francisco rioting. You have Sacramento rioting. All right. All up and down the coast. All right. On the East Coast, you have every major city to include the cities down in Florida. All right. Rioting. You have New York rioting. You have Boston rioting. You have Louisville obviously is rioting. Now Louisville has more of a reason to riot, but you have Louisville rioting. You got Houston rioting. You've got Dallas rioting. Haven't heard about Biloxi, Mississippi.
I don't think Shreveport is. I haven't heard anything from my family down there.
Well, you know. That's Shreveport. Let's be honest, Shreveport's not that large a city though either, is
it? Is New Orleans?
New Orleans is. I haven't seen too much around New Orleans, but then again, to be honest, it's easy to quell the riots in New Orleans. Just turn the dikes open.
Damn, that's harsh.
When I quell the riot, it's a good way to do it. Water has a tendency to cool everything down.
Are they rioting in Miami? That's a big city.
I think so. Yes, they were rioting in Miami too. They've had riots everywhere.
What about Vegas?
Vegas has had riots, yes.
Okay. I heard Salt Lake City. Are you kidding me?
Salt Lake City rioted. Yeah.
I know, right? Why?
In fact, a guy got out with his bow and then freaking got his car torched. Tried to stand off the protesters with his bow and arrow, said all lives matter. So they attacked him, beat him, and then flipped his car over and torched it.
Okay, I know, dude. I would have stayed in my car.
Well, I wouldn't have gone out with a bow.
Yeah,
if you're going to go out with something, you better be going out with something that a little bit heftier than that. And that goes back to something else. Okay, people talk about firearms. Firearms are wonderful tools, okay? But they're a range weapon. Understand this. If you let people get too close, it doesn't matter if you've got a gun or not, all right, you are probably going to get overwhelmed. You have to keep people back. And unless you're going to use the old Roman tactics, which is what's taking place right now in D.C. and so forth, where people are just ignoring the rules, thinking that I'm being peaceful when I break the law and I get in front of you and I hold my hands up. As far as I'm concerned now, that's police work. There is no policing anymore. At this point, they might as well take out the freaking billy club and beat you over the head. One hand on the billy club, one hand on the shield, and go forward, just like the old Roman legions. Boom, 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 whack, boom, whack, whack.
What do you do at this point if you are traveling and you need to get home? And you have to go through one of these major cities and you're there at the wrong time. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time and the riot's hitting right there. You're stuck. You might be armed with a knife and a gun, but you can't run through these people because people are getting arrested for that, even if the car's being swarmed and they're busting out your windows. Okay?
Being arrested is fine. Being charged and going through the court system, you're going to have to trust the court system and say, look, I was in fear for my life.
I suppose, right? I guess if you don't have one, it's time to buy even a cheap fucking dash cam at this point, right? That way you have footage.
At this point, we're past the point of no return with this shit. When they let it continue and spread, and then they continue to let it continue instead of immediately putting an end to it. What did Whitmer do today? They're on a freaking meeting with freaking Trump. Trump's saying, get tougher with these people. You can't let this continue. And she comes out and starts bitching that Trump said we need to get tougher. That's the governor of Michigan.
Governor of Oregon's no better. Like I said, the mayor of Portland is a lefty. He's been begging for the National Guard. He's saying send in the troops. That means it's bad. Okay?
Well, no. What it means is that he doesn't want to be the one responsible. Let's be perfectly honest.
No much of this send in the National Guard.
No, well, that would be true, but they could have set up. He could have had the police actions taken immediately to begin with, and it would have quelled this. He chose not to. He doesn't want to be on the hook for bringing in the police. And at this point in time, and I've said this many times, and I constantly get argued with from you and from other people, in our little group, right? That the purpose of the police is to protect and serve, and they're not. The purpose of the police is to maintain order. And at this point in time, they're no longer maintaining order. Now, you could say that their main purpose is to enforce laws. That's all well and good, but you can only enforce laws when there's order.
Yeah, well, first off, I've been completely ignoring your chat. Sorry, guys. I saw you there, Cass. I hope you're still there. What's up? Epileptic, Mitch. I see Carl's in there now. Straight Sith Male. Fuck you too, buddy. I think Yorkie's up in here. How you guys doing? All right. And the link is in my Discord. We can have up to 6 people. So, man, you heard what Mitch and Arthur had to say about it, about Trump waiting and letting it go as long as it possibly could until it looked better to act. Do you think he's thinking that way, or do you think he finally was like, what the fuck, these guys aren't going to do shit, and he's like, fuck it?
No, I think at this point in time, he's trying to get the system to work the way it is, but there is no intention to work with it because the press is telling people lies. They're letting these lies spread. So Trump is now put to a point where it's like he's going to have to do something. And unfortunately, whether you like it or not, and I'm going to be real blunt, Trump is trying to take that quote unquote middle road that you're talking about, rather than going in what he should have done, which was surround these protesters. Okay, these protesters that came out, he should have ordered the Marines and said, "Look, I'm going to go out. These people are going to try and come out here illegally. What I want you to do is I want you to, as soon as they come out and start to push, I want you to surround them and take them all and incarcerate all of them. Bring plenty of zip ties, all right, and leave them zip tied, both hands and feet, laying on the ground. And you tell the Marines to go in with a bundle of zip ties, and you surround these people, and you sit up there and hold them in place until there's literally thousands of them zip tied. And when they're zipped, after they're done being zip tied, you have the media there watching as you throw these people into the backs of deuce and a halves, all right, to be carted on off.
You know, you expect me to be mad about that. But that is more sensible than what I thought you were going to say. I can agree with that. Because what I thought you were going to do was level shoot. And then I'm thinking Boston Massacre. Here we go for a real revolution. And I'm not going to like who's taking the reins on this one.
Well, you do that once, and if that doesn't quell it, the next time you do, lock and load. Get indoors. No, bang. Get indoors.
Will any servicemen and women say no, I won't do this on U.S. soil?
No,
and
it depends. It depends on the situation.
What do you think about something like that?
As far as zip tying them and tossing them.
Oh, okay. You go ahead. Sorry.
As far as zip tying them and tossing them in mass in trucks, that wouldn't be a problem. But you see, the thing is that if it continues, it isn't going to be people just peacefully doing things.
That's true. Because if they come out after that, and after you actually see these people being charged with disturbing the peace, reckless endangerment, assault, destruction of property, like do RICO type shit on them. All of you are doing the same fucking action. All of you are connected online somehow because it was all fucking coordinated.
Yep.
RICO their asses.
And that's part of what they're doing. But I don't like RICO for a variety of reasons. But
I'm not a big fan either, but if you're going to use it right.
they need to go after this whole thing about declaring Antifa a terrorist organization has one purpose and one purpose only, right? Trump is going after the funding. That's all it is. Everyone's talking about you got all these freaking idiots, all right, online, crying like your buddy down there, all right, the holidays, right, are all butthurt about this, right? That he dared to sit up there. There's no organization to Antifa. Bullshit. There are organizations to Antifa, and they're gonna lose all their funding. At this point in time, I would seize all the assets of certain individuals, lock them down. At this point, I'm dead serious. I would go in Media Matters. I would go through I would seize their records right now. I would do a raid on Media Matters' areas, and I would seize their computers. And anybody who was working with these people, all right, I would arrest them. I would sit up there, and then it comes down to arresting George Soros and tossing his freaking happy ass in jail. So be it. And if it's Warren Buffett, so be it.
No, that's the day MC gets drunk on stream with me.
I would be celebrating, I must admit. I would be celebrating. Come on. Hiya, Gemma. You can come and argue with us.
Yeah, the link's in my Discord in general. Okay, so how many troops would it take to put down what you were calling an insurrection? I called a rebellion, which is pretty much different words for the same thing.
I would come in with overwhelming force. I would come in with a regiment in DC.
In each city?
Yeah, I would move from city to city. I put them. You could do it in 2 or 3. I think after a first few, when they see the people getting butt struck to the ground and then zip tied and left on the ground and thrown up like cordwood, I think after that, most of the people say, "Oh, maybe I don't want to do that."
Okay. My wife's getting home, so just a second. Can you talk about something? Sorry.
And as you can hear, the kids are roaming away as he tries to train them to attack the White House. Yes, we know what Mad Dodge's real plan is. He has been working with these Antifa goons for a long time now. He's even got secret communication with the Dolphins, all right, to coordinate his actions. This is all part of a deep, dark plot from Mad Dog Productions. You heard it here first. As his kids sit up there and drag him down to the dolphin pool to sit up there and have the discussion. They're plotting. The problem is, right now, it's the auditors. And the auditors are going to have to get taken care of. And Mad Dodge is trying to come up with a plan to get the... No, well, look, folks. This is beyond where it was. This is way beyond anything that we've seen. This is beyond the 1960s. Right? I know what people are saying. I remember the 60s and 70s. All right? I remember the riots. And yeah, there were times when there was multiple things going on, but it wasn't like this. Okay? It wasn't this broad, and it wasn't this deep. And what I mean by deep is long lasting.
You know what would be great, MC? We need to get the pictures of the riots, and then in some of them, hide a dolphin in the back, like ordering.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Do a whole slew of things, and right here, look, Flipper, that bastard Flipper. He was still alive. None of you knew it. It was all a plot. He faked his death. He's the ringleader. This is what happens when you learn how to communicate with the dolphins. And when you think about it, who is communicating with the dolphins? Who's trying to learn the dolphin language? Well, it's all these freaking eggheads from universities. Think about that. You
my God, you found your leftist connection.
You thought the professors were in control. Actually, they're just getting their marching orders from the dolphins. The dolphin rapists were working with Antifa. They're in control of Antifa.
Yeah, and thank you for the super chat, Pinoid. Appreciate it. Yeah, no, and in some of the pictures, we will find the penguins, okay? They're more elusive. We found more evidence of the dolphins so far because they're rapey, so they come out in public.
Well, they're rapey and they're commie, all right? Where you'll find the penguins, you'll find the penguins beating on the dolphins. That's where you'll find that.
Oh man. But what it really boils down to is, do you necessarily
I want to see a dolphin try using a Molotov cocktail.
Oh, the dolphin probably could. Its tail, right? So it knocks back with its head and flings it forward.
The lighting on fire would be interesting. Anyway, what were you going to ask me?
So city to city. So you start in DC, and then obviously you head to Baltimore. It's closest.
Believe it or not, Baltimore is not really doing a lot. Baltimore is pretty quiet for the most part, because once you quell DC, Baltimore will be quiet. All right, Philadelphia would be the next place you're going to have to go, and you better be willing to lock and load and fire in Philadelphia, because that's going to get really violent.
God damn! Do you guys hate Philly, or what's?
No, that's just what Philly is. That's just the way Philly is. Philly is a freaking nightmare. The rioting that's going on in Philly is no one's really talking about it, but it's horrifying. I'll bet Pino will back me up on this. Freaking Philadelphia is no joke. It was looking like a freaking war zone before the riots. Philly is gangster. They don't play. See? Like I said, if you're going to take on Philly, you better be willing to start firing, because that's what it's going to take. And while you're doing that, you can order another regiment of Marines to sit up there and go up the coast, all right, starting in San Diego and move up to LA. All right. And I would activate Fort Hood and Fort Drum, and I would freaking bring in tanks. I would have tanks rolling down cities. I'd put a platoon of tanks in each major city, and I would have them drive around. Every now and then, they would move from point A to point B as you move through there to ensure that it's curfew. And wherever there's a riot, I would move the tanks into those areas, and I would put them at cross points. And if the people don't obey it, right, as you move forward and the rioting begins, have them open fire. Open fire with the machine guns, mow it down. Next.
$2 more from Pinoid. Thank you. They got a jail and courthouse in Eagles Stadium. Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, NFL, baby, we're gonna represent. You would think that the Raiders would have this. It would be in Oakland.
Yeah, Joe, Philadelphia don't play games, man, like at all. Like them guys down there, it's a whole different breed of animal in Philly.
So if you move in the Marines, what's going to happen?
Yo, I don't know. Like dude, Philly's a weird place. Like as far as like demographics and type of people that are there, like it's a whole different animal down in Philadelphia. Like I'm not sure. Because they got fucking neighborhoods that I don't know if you can like go in with. You'd have like Iraq door to door is what it would have to be.
Well, you go in with tanks. You secure the streets.
You'd have guys from the windows. Like it just happened recently. Like there was a black Israelite fucking banged it out with the cops from the windows from the second floor, which is like having a just gunfight with the cops.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a gunfight long if you bring in an M1.
You can't knock down the building because there's civilians in it.
No. There's no civilians anymore. There's no civilians. At worst, they're unwilling human shields.
I don't know.
No, I know
Like,
what
I
you're
feel-
saying, Pino, and I'm being a bit
Yeah, I got like yeah. I mean, that's just, it's the bad look. You know what I mean, as far as things are concerned.
Yeah, but
No, you
at this
can't
point,
Yeah.
with the rioting going on right now, as long as the rioting stops, then those areas will be left alone. But if they start gathering in numbers and start pushing forward again, like we're going to protest, at this point in time, the only way you're going to stop the protest is with force, and it's got to be overwhelming.
Yeah,
that's why I keep trying to point out to these people: you can't tell me that when you go out for a quote unquote protest that you don't know that you're going out for a riot. You're intentionally going out for a riot.
You got to remember, like on the East Coast, it's a whole different animal than on the West Coast. Like the East Coast, like when you start talking about Philly and Jersey, like everything's connected, right? Philly leads into Eddystone and then Camden and Reading, and just like they're just giant metropolitan areas that just spread for hundreds of miles in any fucking direction. And it's just all impoverished black people who are just going to be, and immigrants and Puerto Rico. It's fucking bad. It's going to be bad. You know what I mean? Legit.
It's already bad in Philly. They've been burning all sorts of shit. Was it rioting? Were they rioting there again today? I don't know if they were rioting today. I didn't hear about Philly today, but I mean, over the weekend there were some serious riots there.
Man, I'm waiting for my fucking new cell phone in the mail and shit through FedEx, and it's in Portland. I'm just like crossing my fingers. Don't fucking loot the goddamn FedEx.
You sure it was FedEx and not delivered in an Amex truck or an Amazon truck? Because if it was on an Amazon truck, those things have been looted all over the place.
No, it's through a cell phone company. I'm not going to say which one.
And the United States Postal Service has said that they're not going to deliver in certain areas until this stuff quiets down.
Oh, well, I'm good there. I'm still getting my mail.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah. And I bet it already left Portland. It's just delayed. So, and what's up, Tema? How are you doing? And
we lost Pinoid.
Oh, shit. I hope that wasn't my fault. How's everybody doing?
Groovy. If anybody is gonna be mad about troops on the streets, it's you.
Like, is it like in my fucking backyard?
Yeah. So what's up?
Okay. So things are really stupid up here in Beaver Twat. Fuck this town. Seriously, I've never had to try to figure out whether I'm supposed to say sir or ma'am to more people than I have up here. It's very frustrating, difficult to deal with people. Never mind. I don't fucking care. So, like, if you go out towards dark time at all, because there's no curfew here at all. It's just everybody's really edgy. Now, the fucked up funny thing, well, fucked up and kind of funny at the same time is, so there's this big virtue signal of wear your mask. Because that means you care about everybody, guys. Just wear your mask. Okay? Yeah, pretty much. Wear your mask, and it's a big virtue signal. Now, everybody who's ever been to a protest or been around riots or anything goes, face mask, riot. Not gonna do it. So you go to the grocery store, and everybody's looking at you like you're fucking crazy because you won't wear a mask. And it's like, I already display signs that will make people think I'm part of Antifa. Why would I do more?
No doubt.
Yorkie, first I violate terms of service. Next I violate the Geneva Convention. MC 2020.
Did I hear you talk about bringing in an Abrams or something?
Yeah, I did say I would
M1.
put Abrams on a platoon of Abrams in each major city right now. A platoon of M1s.
That's a little excessive, darling.
No, it's not.
That's a little excessive. You know, you don't have to like.
You don't have to? Really?
No, you
have
don't.
to.
No,
Right.
really, you don't. Dude, okay, so we're going to have kittens because Obama was bombing Americans with drones. But, oh, hey, let's roll tanks into American cities. No, you can't have the two on the same fucking plane. Sorry,
Tema, I want you two to argue, but I want to also say thank you, Yorkie, for the 5 pounds. Appreciate it. And MC already read what he said. So I just wanted to say thank you. Go for it.
Wait. Before they start the argument, I want to do an advertising spot here. This argument is brought to you by Ridgedale Brand Virtue Signal for when you need the world to see you pretending to care.
Wear your mask.
I also thought you were about to say Raid Shadow Legends.
We're going to raid Shadow Legends in Minecraft?
1.
All right. Now that we've got to this, you tell me that it's going to be excessive. Well, you show me so far, all right, where force has been applied, all right, that has stopped this rioting.
Minneapolis.
Hasn't stopped. They were rioting again today.
Dude, they're driving people out of the locations where the rioting is happening, and it's allowing the protesters to separate the rioters from the protesters and the protests to start occurring.
It doesn't show me that. I haven't seen that. You still have rioting taking place, don't you?
You still have rioting taking place even if there's military on the streets. Just talk to DC.
Not for long.
Just talk to DC. Yeah, 2-3 nights, and there's been National Guard and Secret Service. They're both federal.
The Secret Service
Didn't St. John's just burn?
St. John's burned last night. All right. But the Secret Service, all right, is not the military, number one. All right. And they are there to protect the president.
That's why I said federal.
Okay. But as far as what I'm talking about bringing in the freaking Marines. You butt stroke the people that are out there gathering illegally, and you put an end to it.
Define an illegal gathering.
Yeah.
What are you allowed to gather past 8 o'clock? No. Or 7 o'clock? No. All right. Go home. If you don't go home, you are now in violation. You can get butt stroked.
I just want to know when we went from living in America to Poland circa 1941.
When city after city started going up in flames.
It's only blocks of these cities, and the civilians are starting to take it back. Why won't we trust the American people to do what the American people have done for 2.5 fucking centuries?
They've had 6 days. They haven't done it.
They've started. They waited for the government. You can't make it instantaneous. You got to have some patience. How long did it take to win the revolution? How long did it take to win the revolution? How long did it take to convince people after the Boston Tea Party? How many years were between the Boston Tea Party and the revolution? How much time does it take for people to work together and get things going?
27 minutes.
How long does it? Well, there is a little bit of a difference in time in with technology today. But how long did it take to put down the rebellion in the Civil War? And how many people were dead?
It wasn't even, oh my God, dude. That's kind of a horrible conflation of what we're dealing with now, dude.
Is it? I don't think so.
It is, because we're talking about a group of terrorists staging a bunch of riots and people following along. And as soon as they're stopped, they fucking stop.
No, you don't. You have a bunch of people who are well aware that they're there to protect the rioters, and if they get in any kind of thing, they scream about how they're victims. You have the entire media complex cheering that shit on, and you have a ton of blue check marks, all right, and celebrities, all right, that think that they're going to save America by doing this. They're on the side of America.
Yes, and then you got the good old boys getting out there in groups of 8 to 10, and they're clearing entire sections of fucking cities. Just 8 to 10 of them with some bean bags and some tear gas canisters. They're doing 20 times the work that the National Guard would have to do because they're constrained. Do you know what these groups of good old boys are doing? They're doing smart shit, and they're getting people out of situations. We don't have to kill people. We don't have to destroy more shit. We can just teach these people that rednecks don't give a shit. We're going to put you back in your hole because you're not allowed to burn this neighborhood. And that's the way you stop another riot from happening. Rooftop Koreans are a legend, and why is that?
It hasn't happened yet.
It started. It's not going to be a light switch that you go, oh, look, American people do. Nothing works like that. We're human beings. It's going to take a little bit of time. And the American people have already started fighting back and taking the streets back.
I think you're looking at small numbers of examples to sit up there and try and bolster your hope. Because what I'm watching right now is I watched today, just now, in fact, an hour or so ago, was watching Macy's, the historic Macy's in New York City, get raided and looted.
Okay.
So it's not this idea that this is working. You're going to have to show me something aside from just a clip here and there of where people are doing things. Yes, did the one guy who was trying to break up a concrete so he could get tackled and given to the police? Yeah, that's great. But at the same time, there's how many other incidents going on?
Okay, there's also the group. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mitch.
I just want to point out what is the media's interest, and which story do you think they're going to favor? Do you think they're going to favor the story of the American people banding together to say no more? Or do we have to rely on secondary and tertiary media types like ourselves to we have to wait for people like ourselves to post that stuff?
Well, I'll tell you what, Hard Bastard is doing some really great aggregation right now if you have the time to watch his 5-hour streams.
Jesus, 5 hours. Well, I can barely scratch my dick in that much time. Jeez.
Well, okay, so Tema,
yeah,
citizens that are getting their cars swarmed and they push through the crowd are being arrested. And it's not like they're trying to necessarily run these people over. They're being swarmed and trying to get out of there. Wouldn't you move out of the way of a moving car? I think I would.
I always move out of the way of moving cars, but I tend not to be, a lobotomized baboon that thinks it's totally fine to go run in front of moving cars.
It's a simple question of weight ratios.
I passed physics, so I mean, like,
I'm just trying to add some Monty Python to the situation.
And I don't understand why you would run to the cars anyway. If you're dealing with a rioting situation like that, the person in the car is going to win.
Well, see, that's just it. They're relying on the good nature of the person driving the car. And that's a stupid thing to rely on.
Well, it is a stupid thing to rely on. But what's worse is that this shows you how far it's spreading also. Because now they're taking it to the streets to try and block, major thoroughfares. They're trying to block interstates.
Yorkie, you're going to get us in trouble.
Oh, hi, Dodge. You weren't planning on being monetized, were you?
For fucking out.
Oh, my YouTube.
God, Yorkie. Yorkie, I can't believe you did that. Actually, I can.
I just
I realize you're trying to lighten the mood, but
watching as the Penguins direct the cities to burn, I can't help but think maybe we nuke Antarctica and all of this goes away.
It won't go away because the frickin' dolphins will still be able to use their blowholes to fire the fucking blowguns.
No, the problem is you need to bomb Italy because that's where Antifa came from.
I'm perfectly fine with this.
No. Follow along here. I actually have real logic, right?
No, you don't, Pat. No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. So we nuke Antarctica, and everybody in the country goes, "What the fuck? Why did we just nuke Antarctica?" And they stop.
Okay, you nuke Antarctica. You melt the ice cap there. All right. You increase the sea levels on the eastern seaboard. The dolphins have more range to move. Well done.
San Francisco is gone. Woohoo!
And most of California.
Never mind. What?
Yeah,
don't forget the ducks, man. The ducks are up to something. I'm telling you.
No, it's the geese.
You can't read their motives.
We got them damn Canadian geese up here. They're the biggest assholes on the planet. They jump up on your car and shit on it, and you're not allowed to chase them away. The cops will literally stop you from getting them off your property.
I think the ducks are collaborating with the enemy.
The ducks up here sound like cats.
Holy shit. Not only are they collaborating with the enemy, they're fucking trying to evolve.
No, they're collaborating. Wouldn't you? We have duck season. Every year we go on a duck purge.
This is why.
Collaborate with the penguins too.
Well, we would have chicken purges if we didn't do that regularly. We would have those annual chicken purges because chickens and ducks are both foul, disgusting fucking creatures.
To be fair, I am waiting for dolphin season so I can break out my bow.
Bows work great. Just ask that guy. Where was it? Colorado?
Oh, that's fucking funny.
It is tough finding a good spot for a tree stand, though.
Lake City, Utah.
And why a bow?
Wait a minute. A guy shot a dolphin with a bow in Salt Lake City. No,
Oh, she's talking about.
sorry. I'm just.
Maybe a dolphin. I mean, I don't know. I thought it was a lizard person myself, but you know,
He didn't hit anybody.
no, he
That's
didn't.
That's the worst
I
part.
thought
He
he-
gets out.
The lizard people are easy to deal with. All you have to do is turn up the air conditioning. They'll
First of
fall
all, the
asleep.
guy gets out. It's obvious that he just went to the sporting goods store and picked the bow up. Because he didn't. If you watch him trying to notch that arrow, I'm like, dude, you have no fucking clue how to use a bow at all.
I think he
I
was
thought I
scared.
got one of them.
I think part of it was he was scared too. What were you saying, Yorkie?
And I thought I caught someone because I swear in the corner you see someone fall over. But then he immediately gets bum rushed by like 20 other people.
Oh yeah, he got bum rushed. His car got flipped over and torched.
Well, you know, the awful thing is, like, besides that poor guy being in the hospital for being scared, and they're probably going to arrest him.
I'm surprised he went in the fucking morgue.
What? Are you going to arrest him?
For shooting the bow in public.
You can shoot bows in public. There's very few things against that.
Well, in California, you can't. You have to be in an area where you're supposed to be specifically hunting, or at a range.
What if the
Utah
war-
or California?
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know. They may call it incitement or something. Who knows? You know, they like to arrest
They
people.
incited him. He said all lives matter, and that pissed them all off.
Wait,
You know,
I don't want to know where that counterfeit $20 bill is. I want to see.
Everybody is asking. You are not alone, Mitch. There are a ton of people going, "Where's the counterfeit 20?" I can talk.
You're
Big
talking
word,
about
big girl.
that supposedly George Floyd supposedly passed.
Hey, real quick, Tema. First off, my wife says hi. Second, what time's your guys' curfew? She's asking.
We don't have one here in Beaverton, but Portland is on 8.
How's that freedom holding up for you, Yanks?
How's the what?
How's that freedom holding up for you guys?
Oh, it's great. We have our own guns. We can go take it back whenever we want.
We damn well should.
As long as it's before 8 p.m.
To be clear, I'm not
actually listen to the curfew. It's Portland.
I want to make it perfectly clear. I don't think it's rebellion or insurrection or an act of war against America to try to return America to its founding principles.
It's not. If anything, it's a revolution, but it's not a seditious revolution. It's a restorative revolution, and I forget what they call those. It's not an insurrection.
I call it a revolution, and I call it put it down.
I don't know. I have two minds about this because
I think I'll call it a resurrection.
You know, I think that works. Man.
Maybe a reconstitution.
Oh,
Look,
that's clever.
The thing is that I don't disagree with you, but the problem is that that's not what you're seeing happening right now. You are not looking. You're not looking at a restoration. You are looking at a rebellion. These are leftists who are trying to bring the government down so they can remake it in their own image.
Well, yeah, these are people basically shitting in the pool to ruin the party for everyone.
And anybody who tells me that they're out there in D.C. and we're just going out there to peacefully protest, bullshit. You're not out there to peacefully protest. You're out there to riot. And you're out there, I'm not the one rioting. Yeah, what you're doing is you're intentionally trying to provide cover for the ones that are. Okay? You know what's happening. Everyone knows what's happening. If you go out for a protest right now, you're not going out for a protest. You're going out for a riot.
What's that part in the Constitution? Giving aid and comfort to them?
To the enemy.
Yep.
Well,
I wonder how long it's going to be before...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I wonder how long it'll be before I start using the term bricks of peace.
Oh, it won't be that. I'll tell you right now. And I haven't gone into any kind of, I'm not going to go into any kind of detail. But there's going to be things happening very soon. All right, I guarantee you that utilize technology and like everybody's been worried about.
Well, between this and COVID, we're not going to have any more privacy.
It has nothing to do with that. That's not what's going to happen. And I'm not talking about the military. I'm talking about what civilians are going to start doing. What the left is going to do. There are things that utilize the utilization of technology that exists right now that everybody has. You will see the left finally realize, oh, look, we can do this and this and this. And it's going to start happening at night.
What are you talking about? That's way too elusive.
That's way too obvious and probably has already started.
You think it's elusive?
I don't.
Right,
You're
it's
not
not.
saying directly what it is, so I don't understand what you're talking about.
All right. Okay. Since you want to find it, want to know what it is?
Macho
Right.
versions
Damn
of
it,
trekking
brother.
cookies.
Watch. I don't know who should I talk to. What did? Okay, I'm just going to come out and say it. The hell with it. What do you think people are going to start doing with drones?
Hitting them with green lasers.
Not at night. They're not. They're going to be used by the left to deliver things.
Ah, okay. So you're talking about them pulling a North Korea or a South to North Korea.
They're basically pulling a Norma Jean.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I guess it's a good thing that most everybody can use a BB gun, huh?
You can't see them at night. Paint them black. You wouldn't even know they're in the area.
Okay. Well, they aren't going to be able to deliver much on the modern drone, so hopefully we
With
can.
a crowd of people. All I need is to be able to deliver a 2-pound package.
You really think they're going to start bombing?
That's what they did in the 70s. Why wouldn't they do it now?
Where was that? I'm trying to remember where that was. It was like a tenement or something. It was like a.
Talking about Weather Underground?
Yeah, the Weather Underground blew up a lot of shit.
No, this is when the police did.
Well, the police that they bombed. Well, that was back in the 80s. Right, I was in the military at the time, and the Philadelphia police bombed with a helicopter. They tossed the bomb by hand out of a helicopter
Right.
onto an apartment complex.
Yeah, that one.
There's a bunch of militant Black Power people.
Okay, yeah, but right now, 2020, they're saying that this is being egged on by white supremacists. Is
No.
that narrative still going on?
Well, I mean, I guess. Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess technically it's true because a whole lot of the white people I've seen arrested, especially at like Berkeley and Portland, the ones that are over 40, I recognize a few of those motherfuckers, and they were neo-Nazis when I was in high school. So maybe.
So they're Antifa now?
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah. I bet if you shaved their heads, you'd see some swastikas on some domes. One of them, like MC heard me tell the story. I hit the girl in the head with a bottle. I was like 17, because like this was like my 5th interaction with her, and I finally got tired of just punching her. And she kept pushing me, and I finally picked up this empty bottle and hit her in the head, and I expected it to break because I'm like 17, and movies. And it didn't break, but her fucking skull did.
Yeah, bottles can be pretty vicious.
It would have been worse if it did break.
I would have cut her to shit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, you'd have probably still broken her skull and cut her to shit. So just, the thing was.
Guess what? I
But-
never hit anybody with a bottle ever again.
Yeah, well, that's good. You put that in the positive category. But I'm telling you right now, what you're going to start seeing is this stuff. If they don't start tamping this shit down, you're going to see idiots, true idiots on the right, all right, utilize technology the way I was talking about. And they will increase it. And the reason for it, and the reason they're going to do it, is because they're going to go back to the playbook of the 1930s, where the only ones who are trying to deal with the leftists, the rioting leftists, will be the rioting right.
Okay. Well, I don't know if that's going to be what happens. I see what you're saying, and it is a possibility, but I really honestly think there are enough militia members, voluntary, independent militia members in America, and enough preppers and enough veterans in America. You're probably going to see the American people step up and put this down. Because if there's one thing an American hates, it's a commie.
Well, there's plenty of Americans that love commies.
Not enough.
Well, that's just it. At what point do we not recognize them as Americans any longer?
The part where they say, "Hi, I'm from California."
There is that.
Quiet, you.
Except I am from California.
So am I.
I was born on Fort Ord Army Base.
Oh, no, I was born in Santa Barbara.
You poor
Where the put
bastard.
that? Where the put that effing foul?
You don't have to claim where you were born.
I
No.
absolutely never have.
You can say that you escaped. If you're not living there, you can claim that you got away.
I'm a refugee. What's up, man?
Yeah, no, you guys. Okay. I just looked this up. Because if you want to talk about a civil war, what's the demographics here? And what are we talking about?
Well, one thing
I
is-
looked up how much of the United States identifies as progressive.
It's like 8%.
49%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey.
You see, there's a couple of different things going on. First of all, it won't be two sides.
Mm-mm.
It's not going to be a two-sided conflict. There's going to be more factions than that. But at the same time, everyone's got a different definition of the word progressive, so the number can be as high or as low as we want.
Yeah, it could be anything from I'm fine with gay marriage all the way to, you know,
Yeah.
my
because
wife's,
that doesn't- yeah.
my wife's black son is now on fucking gender reassignment surgery.
And we're
Well,
lovers.
Well, no, that doesn't sound right because if you look at Democrat versus conservative and then independent and any other party,
It doesn't
those
add up.
just don't add up. Yeah.
Yeah, they
No.
don't. They never do.
You can't trust, it's like they said, lies, damned lies, and statistics.
Yeah. Yeah. It's still a relevant quote these days.
Ultimately, for me, it always comes down to every policy, every ideology, every concept, every idea. They always come down to one of two possibilities, pro-liberty or pro-tyranny. And I will always side with liberty.
Here's the thing. If Donald Trump brings the Marines in like MC wants and he violently quells this, whatever it is, these riots, this insurrection, this open rebellion, what have you, he might lose the election.
Okay, first of all, I don't think Trump is going to directly send national anything in if we see the American people doing what it looks like the American people are going to do. Now, Trump did say some pretty harsh shit to governors this morning when he did his governor call, and he called them weak. That was pretty impressive.
And accurate.
And accurate, he said you send in the National Guard. Now, here's what gets me is a lot of the National Guard that's being sent in is just being sent in with a shield. They aren't even getting rubber bullets.
No, for Christ's
Well,
sake.
okay. Let me tell you something. Right? The military, once upon a time, right, we used to train with those things. Okay? And you would train how to use rubber bullets. Because one of the things you're never supposed to do with a rubber bullet is you're not actually supposed to lock and load directly on an individual. You're supposed to spray the ground in front of you. Right now, it depends on the terrain that you're dealing with. But in an urban terrain, the idea is to bounce the damn things off the street. So that
To absorb a lot of the impact and reduce the effect.
Now, here's what happens. This is not non-lethal force. This is less lethal force. You can still kill somebody doing this.
Yeah.
Okay? You can still put people down permanently where they're dead. This can and does happen from time to time. All right, it's less than lethal force or less lethal force, but it's still lethal force.
Okay, it's
but
the most.
anymore, they're not trained that way.
I was just talking about the most affordable, considered non-lethal means. Why has nobody pulled out a fucking water cannon yet?
They actually started to. All right, there was a few people that actually started to do that, but who maintains water cannons? To be honest, that's the fire department and the fire department. The Dolphins. That's right. The Dolphins has absconded with them to prevent their use.
No, they got to her. She speaks.
She's a spy. We got the spy. Attempt of the spy. She's not Attempt of the Hun. It's Attempt of the spy.
Grew up by the beach.
Dolphin in a human suit.
Dolphin? What the fuck?
That's all right. I speak asshole.
Why do you think I've never been raped by a dolphin? I know how to speak dolphin. I'm not retarded. I learned how to speak dolphin.
I thought it might be you know how to swim.
Hey,
So you finally learned the safe word.
no, if you could speak dolphin, could you check that you know more than one language?
Well, I already know more than one language, so yeah. But I guess.
No. Or like Klingon. What if I decide?
Yes,
I wanna
actually,
learn
you can
Klingon?
call yourself multilingual if you know Klingon. Same as Elvish and Dwarvish and what's the other one that Tolkien created? Orcish?
I am totally learning Klingon.
Gelajnish.
I'm going to be a Klingon translator.
I do know some Klingon, by the way.
So,
Oddly, I don't know the profanities. Oh, I guess I do. I know Patak.
I don't care. Sorry.
Thing is, now I'm thinking about Klingon profanities. What have you people done to me?
Yes.
I'm supposed to be an astute analyst of political stuff and
I think they gave you back your
Bill of Rights
virginity.
things, but here I am thinking, how do I say beam me up in Klingon?
As far as I'm concerned, all you have to do is take a look what happened today. All right, during a supposed curfew, where the leftists decided to sit up there and come on out to try and block Trump when he was walking on the street. And so they got together very quickly and they started ignoring things. They started marching directly toward where the president was because they were going to quote unquote protest the president. All right. And then they were met with force and they were met with tear gas. And you have all these people going, tear gas not movement. Yes, not Americans. You don't understand history.
Oh, fuck off.
Okay, here's the thing. In the chat earlier, they were talking about, I think Joshua brought it up, that in Seattle they are going ape shit. And no, I wasn't using that for the reason you think I was. Fucking racist. I'm just saying they're going batshit crazy.
Well, in Seattle, you could say they're going ape shit because 90% of the people rioting are white. Because 90% of the population in Seattle is white.
Well, the problem with Seattle is that they've been infected with the murder hornets and they've all been stung and they've been taken over.
I blame Starbucks, actually. No, seriously.
Starbucks is in league with the Dolphins.
Between Starbucks and what is it, Boeing that has that big plant there? They control the narrative for the entire area.
Yeah, Boeing has basically shut down most of the operations in Washington, but Starbucks does have the dolphin, a mermaid at any rate, right?
Boeing's jet fuel coffee for that smooth, high energy burst you need mid-afternoon.
I was just thinking it's because there's such a shitty ass group of people running the corporation that they were.
Here's the thing about Seattle, though. Seattle has the city below it, where these people, if they were smart, could use to mobilize, plan, and strike targets, like MC was saying earlier.
You mean Bellevue or Kirkland?
I don't know. I just know Seattle's built upon old Seattle, and there are entrances.
Oh, the underground city. Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you meant didn't know you meant physically.
No, I meant seriously the underground city. Just like if Vegas was rioting, they could hide in the Vegas tunnels and set everything up. I mean, if these people really wanted to do a fucking rebellion, I don't know, find someone that knows how to fucking rebel.
But these aren't people that think like that.
What do you have right next to Seattle?
Ocean.
No,
Dog shit.
Yeah, you do.
From a military perspective, what do you have?
Oh, ocean.
You have Fort Lewis. Fort Lewis is where the Ranger battalions come out of. Do you really think that Seattle is in any way can't be quelled rapidly?
Good point.
The thing about putting the military in the streets on U.S. soil, I'm actually all for it to restore normality and, like I said in our stream, to maintain the general welfare, which I now must define again. That means the general welfare is not instituting a welfare state. It is making sure that the people are capable and able to take care of and fend for themselves.
Well, right.
If the military is basically to restore order, the military comes in to restore order. I'm all for that. But the second that order is restored, the military must get out.
Well, it needs to be withdrawn at that point. Yes. No, I would agree with you. But the problem is going to be when do you know that order's been restored? It's not a simple thing. Now,
no, it's not.
For us, it would be okay. They've been there now for a couple of days. There hasn't been any riots. Okay, we'll start reducing their numbers very quickly.
I just don't want it to be a thing like the like I said on our stream, oh, you get to step outside and take 3 breaths instead of 2 now. Yay! Freedom restored.
It's
No,
not.
The restoration would be that you can do what you want, but the military's in the streets, and as long as nothing happens, then the military just slowly disappears.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't even do that with LA. They stayed for like an extra 2 or 3 days, and then they just bounced.
Right. Well, that was then. That's not now. You're not dealing in the same situation. You're not.
I think they're going to treat it the same. I
They
think
might attempt to, but it's not the same situation.
I really think that the American people are going to do a lot more than the National Guard is. Nobody's
Well,
afraid
yeah,
of
I
the
think,
Guard, but you know what they are afraid of is a bunch of veterans.
Actually, I was going to say the roof Koreans. They don't fuck
Rooftop
around.
Koreans are coming back, and they have been a legend for almost 30 years now, and there's a reason for that.
Yes. Rooftop Koreans. They're back, and this time they're not taking any crap.
Is there a reason why the rioters are doing iconoclast by tearing down monuments, whether they be Confederate
Yes.
or revolutionary?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, it's
The reason-
intentional. It's destroying our history on purpose.
Yes, you cannot rewrite history until you first destroy history. That's
This is
that's the thing. They want to rewrite history, and then the only way they can do that is by destroying the existing history so they can rewrite it in their own image.
This is literally part of the Communist Manifesto.
You know, I saw an interesting thing on Twitter today. It was a South African saying, it looks like the United States is going through what we're going through. I wonder if they'll ever start talking about what's happening here. I hope we're not going through what they're going through.
Which
White
country
people-
was it again?
You have a
South Africa.
different situation. in
Rhodesia.
It's relatable, though.
To an extent, it is, but the core is the same in that they're leftist movements.
Yeah.
Right? In that regard, it's accurate, and it's got to be called out. If you want to, for example, if you want to stop, this from happening in the future, then the one thing you have to do is you have to sit up there and confront racism. You got to confront racism wherever it's at. You can't tell somebody who's a minority that he can't be a racist because he's a minority. You can't excuse that behavior and that hatred that they have because they're a minority, so therefore we're going to just overlook it.
I
That's the
kind of
opposite
take
of the
Morgan
core.
Freeman's position on that. When I was reading about last week, when Arthur and I were doing a thing about George Floyd, the article kept referring to George Floyd as a black man, and black man George Floyd, in that kind of way. And I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. So from now on, the way I'm going to read that shit is I'm going to read it American George Floyd killed by police. That's how I'm going to do it. That's how I'm going to fight it, because I don't like the concept of a hyphenated American. I don't like some Americans being viewed as somehow less American. That's bullshit.
Well, that's
Well,
part of the way you dismantle a country is by making it socially
Divide and conquer.
unacceptable.
Well, there is a divide and conquer aspect of it, but you can't sit up there and take a look at the situation as it currently exists without dealing with the attitude of the minority community.
Okay, but you also have to give people a chance to respond and start taking the situation into their own hands. It's just now reached a boiling point to where the average person is awakened to the real issue we all have been very aware of because we pay attention to politics. These people don't. They don't care. The instant NFL started getting political, guess what they started doing? They started muting the TV and they started listening to music while they watched their football games.
There's a lot of truth to that, but it's what else are you going to do?
But
Right.
you have to have
You
some faith in the American people. We are talking about a group of people that have been taught they have the freedom to tell people to piss off their whole lives. Gen X does exist. I know everybody likes to pretend we're like the new silent majority. Like we don't exist. I don't know what this is, but like Gen X is just kind of poofed.
I don't think that you exist in the numbers that you believe you do.
Oh no, we don't have much of a number to us. I don't mean like silent majority. It's literally the silent majority. I mean, we're like the generation that is being ignored entirely.
I think
There's,
go ahead.
Oh, well, she's kind of right about the generation that's ignored, because that does happen. But the whole Gen X thing, Generation X, Generation Z, what are some of the baby boomers? The greatest generation. Fuck all that shit. We're Americans.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the groups of people. And okay, so the reason they do generations is because it's your cultural differences, right?
Oh, I understand that.
And the culture I grew up in is very different than the culture my mother grew up in, and very different than the culture my brother grew up in, and very different than the culture my son grew up in.
Yes, it is.
I'm a Gen Xer. My son's a millennial. My brother's a Zoomer. My daughters are Zoomers. Well, no, my brother's on the cusp, but
makes me an Avenger. Anyway, no, the
I don't even know what 84 is.
see, my thing is
you're on the very end of Gen X.
the common cultural thread there is Americana. The American culture is quite simply the Bill of Rights. That is the ideal of what the American culture ought to be. And that should be a through line through all of these generational differences.
Absolutely, I agree, 100%.
The reason it's not is because our education system is an absolute failure. Why do we still
look at it?
We're 3.5 years into the Trump administration with Betsy DeVos as the head of the bribery center known as the Federal Department of Education. Why is Common Core still a thing?
Because they won't let her have an administration or a cabinet.
Well,
It's
if she can't have an
literally
administration or a cabinet, then it sounds to me like she can decree it away.
It's literally her and her personal aides. Like
Everyone
else is from
against her.
is from Obama. She's like, she is struggling so hard right now. That's like the one thing nobody really realizes. Part of the reason that's what elections are for. Part of the reason this has happened is because Congress won't meet and the Senate won't, nobody will meet to approve her appointees. So she's stuck with the previous administration's appointees.
Well, I think she could still, she's the head of the department. Shouldn't she still be able to basically declare as head of the department, okay, we're not going to fund Common Core anymore, but what we are going to do is we're going to fund instead an actual curriculum.
Like Saxon?
You mean like John Saxon?
It's Saxon. I don't know, it's Saxon math. I don't know what it was called before that. It's just Saxon math. It was used in public schools from the 90s up until Common Core, and it's what I've used with my kids. And I combine it with a classical arithmetic book from the 50s.
Well, whatever nickname it has, just basically teach.
It's a curriculum. It's not a nickname.
Well, no, what I'm saying is mathematics is mathematics. Mathematics is one of the few things that you can teach that is almost always an absolute.
Yeah.
So whatever nickname they give the process, it's still going to be mathematics. Is what I'm getting at.
I get you.
So what I'm getting at is get rid of all the bullshit. If she's the head of the department, she ought to be able to do this. It ought to be within her authority. Get rid of all the Common Core, Head Start, No Child Left Behind bullshit, and just tell all the schools, if you want federal funding, these are the parameters you're going to have to meet. And those parameters are teach children how to read, teach them how to spell, teach them how to write, teach them how to do math, teach them how to, what's the other thing? There's another one in there and I know it, but whatever.
Yeah.
Basically, you're reading, writing, arithmetic. You reduce the process to its simplest, purest, most digestible form.
That would be classical. That would be a classical education. And these people will bite their heads off before they allow classical education to be taught in schools again. Because classical education requires you to interact with these students.
Yes, I remember the other one. Civics.
Civics? My kids already know civics. We're working on memorizing the Declaration of Independence.
Okay. First off, no federal funding for schools.
Well, the DOE shouldn't exist.
I agree, but it's there now.
Shouldn't exist.
It's there now, and it's there in a capacity to do damage, and I want to get rid of that goddamn damage.
But no, I have a question for Tema. Tema. Okay. The governor of Oregon we both are her biggest fans, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, bravo. Yeah, bravo. Okay. Um, she'll send the Oregon State Police after the Republican House. But she won't quell what's going on in Portland. She's gonna make Trump force his hand here.
she's gonna send 50 fucking National Guard in, Mad. 50. 50
What?
National
What are
Guard.
they gonna guard? The Dunkin' Donuts?
Dude, all I can say is we need to find whatever messaging board they have and can encourage the civil militias that are all on the other side of the Cascades to come over here and help, because all this is going to do is ruin our country if we don't step in and do something. But I have no way of getting a hold of the whole of those groups.
I don't want to go to Portland. I'm sorry. I'm up here in the Cascades, nice and safe with my gun. I don't want.
No, I'm talking about the actual boys, you know, the 3%ers and all those guys that actually live on the other side.
I wonder what the Bundys are doing right now.
That's what I'm saying. I can't remember their fucking names, dude. Sorry, the Bundys. I was talking about those kind of people, the actual militia people.
That's not even the worst of it. When you think about it, I mean,
them to come in and do it, because you know who would do it better? The Bundys would do it best, because they would do it in the least dangerous way possible, because that's the kind of people they are. That's how they plan and work.
Right. Well, what I'm getting at is
okay, Mitch, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I've long said that the U.S. military is not just there to protect the U.S. from foreign powers. It's also there to protect the foreign powers from the people of the United States, because there are some of us that will fucking eat you.
Yeah.
Do you want to wait till those people get involved with some of this stuff? You want to go try to riot in their neighborhoods?
Well, I have
Because that's going to be funny.
Oh shit, I'm a dumbass. I looked in the wrong place.
That's going to be some pay-per-view shit.
Okay, so MC, let's say what Tema said happens. The militias activate. What happens then?
Expendables.
It depends what you're going to end up with. It's a situation where you'll, depending upon how powerful the things are, you'll have leftists constantly attacking, and it'll be going back and forth, and the riots will continue again and again and again, and be put down with the people on the right, and the population will get sick of it and want the military to come in there and stomp on both of them.
How long will BRICS win over firearms?
Oh, like I said, technology will start to expand. They'll start utilizing technology, and it's going to be bombings. You will see bombings very soon.
It'll be IEDs, basically.
Yep.
They've already started with the Molotovs. Granted, they've managed to mostly set themselves on fire.
Did you guys see the video of them in Austin burning a homeless guy's fucking bed?
Yep, that was fucking disgusting.
I have a picture I use to describe Americans and how dangerous we are. It's actually a meme.
Well, I've been homeless. I haven't been shy about that. I can imagine my camp being raided and burnt by rioters. I would lose. I would fucking just start hitting. They would get me, but fuck them. A few of them's getting hit.
Yeah, I wonder what's happening there, because these people are already being treated like dog shit because of Corona Chan, and now
and then you get this pack of malcontents storming through. We're treating them like dog shit as well, because they're not wearing the right color bandana, or they're not using the proper salute or whatever.
Yeah, it generally is you're wearing the wrong clothes.
Yeah. You're not dressed in black with a face mask.
Well,
the sad part is I dress in black.
The sad thing is, even if you are dressed in black, if you aren't wearing the right kind of stuff to be dressed in black, you won't be part of the accepted. People will know.
Yeah, it's a uniform.
Uh-huh.
This really is a uniformed force on American soil, waging war against the American people.
I think they should be designated a gang, not a terrorist group.
Yeah, I'd say that's actually more accurate.
Because they're much more like organized crime, don't you think, Matt?
Well, actually, you brought up gangs. I want to go a different way. You don't see them looting clubhouses, do you? How long until actual MCs and actual fucking gangs start getting involved and shutting
no
shit
kidding.
down in their area? That's a good point. Nobody's talking about.
What's going
They
to
are
happen
gonna
when the
go
Crips
there.
and the Bloods decide when they take a look at Antifa and say no more? Antifa's going to get buried. That's what's going to happen.
Well, that's what
I think it'd be closer to a three-way brawl.
It might.
Well, shootout.
Well,
yeah, but I think if we labeled him a gang, because Accelerate's saying, he said gang several times, but the overt political motive differentiates. I agree, but I think that it would be better to classify them as a gang since they make money off of shit they sell on the internet.
Well, but the thing is that they're being funded. They're a lot more organized than people are trying to claim that they are. There's a lot of funding that goes into them that is organized, and the organization that they're doing, things that these people are claiming that they're not organized. Well, where's the head of these people? You want to find the heads of these guys? It's real easy. Just go to the university and go into the social sciences, and you'll find the heads of these guys.
Well, yeah, and honestly, it's fucking Hydra, isn't it?
Right.
well, no, Tema, they could stifle the cash flow quicker as a terrorist organization, though, which is why I think he did that. And now they could wiretap them. They could do all sorts of stuff that they don't.
They're not going to wiretap them per se, but they will go after their funding. They will start saying, okay, what's going on? Where did this guy get this money from? They're going to arrest a few of these Antifa people. They're going to say, where are you getting your funding from? And then they're going to follow the money. And
they have offices up here, MC.
Yeah, they're gonna raid these things, all right, and then they're gonna end up going to. If you really wanted to raid something to really put an end to it, you need to raid Media Matters because they're working hand in hand with it.
Change.org.
Lord, when you see how many of these people are on child sex offender lists, you're going to be floored, dude. The guy that runs Rose City Antifa, he's like friends with Keith Ellison. He's already been to jail and let out. Like, that's how long he's been doing this crazy shit. He's on a list for sexual acts with underage girls.
What to the gas chamber with him?
It's like, no, dude. And he runs Antifa. And do you know how many teens walk through the door for Antifa?
Of course.
Like, are you fucking serious?
I bet it makes the Jeffrey Epstein DVD collection look like a child's film anthology.
Oh, up here? Yeah, there's so much weird up here. Like, it's too much weird.
Speaking of that,
home delivery.
Speaking of that, where are all the prosecutions based on the evidence that is in the Epstein DVD collection?
I don't know, but
dude, it's gonna take them so long to sift through all that.
What's to sift through? It's video evidence.
Yes, you have to watch it all. Can you imagine having to watch that?
Yes, I can. And I don't envy those people.
Well, you're going to have to let them have breaks.
Yeah, I almost wonder if you should go to the jails, find the pedos who have been convicted and say, look, we'll give you a deal to watch this thing and figure out who these people are. Or at least go through it and watch it, and we'll teach you how to edit out all the naughty bits so we can identify the perpetrators. Because the pedos won't be disturbed by it.
No, I think you need to break it up into teams and just have people only do a certain amount and then they stop and then you have a new team do something. And that could take a while because that's going to be a lot of coordination.
I wonder how many of them would end up getting locked up just because they have a complete fucking mental breakdown.
Yeah, that's my concern.
That's why you only give them a few to look at.
That's why you give it.
But I don't know.
That's why I'm saying you give it to the pedos who are already locked up, because they're not going to have that mental breakdown and they're already locked up.
Well, I don't know. You could turn them into something really bad if they get out, though. And that seems to be the new trend, is to let people that do sex out of jail.
That's true. You got me there. They are letting them out, and I wonder what they're all doing now. All those criminals they let out because of the COVID.
Well, now that there's riots, gee, exactly. I wonder.
Yeah, who's looking out for the kids?
All right.
I agree with bearded bastard. Kill them all.
No, Antifa's full of some dirty ass people. I'm telling you right now, man. What's up?
Well, no. I'm serious about that though. Are you gonna see them trying to storm certain areas of certain towns where maybe a Hell's Angels clubhouse is, or Outlaws, or even Compton? Are they rioting in Compton, or are they going over to Beverly Hills?
I think they're going over to Beverly Hills. I don't think they would ever cross paths with people that actually do dangerous shit intentionally. Just because I don't think Antifa's members think things that far through, considering they're burning Dollar Trees and stuff.
Well, considering they jump in front of moving vehicles.
Yeah, that's another really big dumb maneuver.
But what sort of, well, I don't know, what kind of serendipity is taking place where they're not ending up at the Hells Angels HQ and then getting the absolute living shit beat out of them?
Because there's just not that many HA things left. There really aren't that many dangerous motorcycle clubs.
No, I mean, it's been.
I don't know about that. There's 2 clubs just in Eugene.
Yeah, okay, but Eugene has what, like 60,000 people?
I know, which is what I'm saying.
Tiny.
If there's 2 clubs in a town of 60,000 people.
Yeah, everybody knows where not to go. Somebody's going to give them that address, and they're going to say, "No, fuck you," okay? Because they're just going to go, "No, I ain't burning this." No.
That's true. I was going to say Sacramento. That's where the Angels' main clubhouse in Cali is. So they're not going to that end of town.
Fucking, we've got 9 motorcycle gangs in Sydney, and fucking, like, for a good solid 10 years, they were actually in a full-on shooting war with each other, where every second night there was a shooting in Sydney. So much for our gun laws, eh? Really worked there, didn't it?
Oh no, Hell's Angels of today is basically, it's like a tenth of what it was when I was growing up.
Well, it's the thing, most of the motorcycle clubs, they're not like what they were in the 50s and 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now they're all wearing polo shirts.
Oh,
and have retirement funds.
Yeah, you're talking about Revs.
God,
it's like,
the assholes who truck their bike into Sturgis, then ride it into town as if they've just come off the road. Fuck you.
Yeah, at the time during this fucking bikie war, they estimated there was only about 20 members or 25 members of the Sydney chapter of the Hells Angels, and I know exactly where their clubhouse was too. And it's like this tiny little bloody shop front off of Main Street in like near a place called Newtown. Fucking yeah, you wouldn't believe it unless I showed you it.
Well, we're sitting here talking about all this, and it's making me wonder. Is this going to piss off the cartels? Because it's going to affect their drug trade.
MS-13 riots the rioters.
Hey, Tamara, I just sent you a video in our Discord.
I can't watch Facebook video. Do I have to sign in to watch it?
I don't know. It should just pop up. It's some guy trying to steal a fucking ATM.
Okay. Oh my god, I think I've seen that.
And he tries dragging it onto a bus.
Hey Yorkie.
Yes, I have seen this.
Hey Yorkie, has the coronavirus in the UK been the worst thing to British cocaine dealers since Amy Winehouse died?
Well, there's a different aspect from these riots also. Look at, so Twitter. I think he's a basketball player. He's cheering on the fucking riots, right? He's like, yeah, get justice. And then they attack his gated community. He's like, get these animals out of here.
I remember that. I remember those screenshots.
Well, for the last 5 or 6 days, it was like every time I see an Australian news report, and we got dickheads in amongst the crowds there, and I've been thinking every time I've seen one of them, like, what are you cunts going to do when the crowds turn on these poor silly fuckwits? Because that's only a matter of time. But it turns out one got beaten the shit out of by fucking Washington police. So now there's a big thing out here about how brutal the police are because they beat up one of our fucking news reporters. And they were told to fuck off, stupid bastards. It's not like you don't speak English over there.
Fucking Kiwis.
Well,
yeah,
okay.
I did that on purpose.
Yeah, but they're running up there, Tema, yelling, "Eat the rich."
I know,
Okay,
it's
these
so
people are
stupid.
insane.
So fucking stupid, dude. This is like crystal knocked fail. Because
What?
all it's going to do is piss off the armed American public. I think
Oh yeah,
I
when
really
the
think there's
second, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
please continue.
I was going to say I think there's a serious fatal flaw in their plan here. I don't think they realized how many armed citizens still live in cities.
Well, yeah, see, exactly. I had suggested, and I didn't do it widely enough, I think, but when the COVID lockdowns started, I had suggested mailing a blade of grass to all the governors.
Why?
World War II, the Japanese Admiral Yamamoto.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's actually brilliant.
I don't think the governors would get it though. But why is everyone mailing me these blades of grass? What the fuck is this all about? Then it's going to click in someone's head, and they're going to go,
Oh,
it's a
shit.
warning. Yeah, oh fuck.
CNN will just report it as, who are these blades of grass sending mail to people? What do they want next? And are we to be afraid of them? More after 8.
Oh, no, they'll call it terroristic threats right off the bat.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah.
Because they call everything a terroristic threat.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, every time I was chased off of social media because of the death threats. Let's see the death threats.
Okay.
Print them. Post them.
Irony.
Copy
It's
paste.
probably just like one person saying you're a twat.
Yeah.
Now, the irony of all ironies is that we've spent the last almost 15 years with public policy and FBI policy for investigation of specific groups being aimed at white conservatives and Christians. Like, no joke, specifically aimed at just those groups. So to have everybody sitting here going, Antifa's not that bad. They aren't actually this. They're an ideology and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the media being so very nice to them and not going crazy and, standing up for them and everything, which was literally the opposite of what the right experienced. It's pretty interesting.
Aren't Antifa basically fucking communist?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're communists.
Well, that's the thing.
And what have I been saying about, to other people around here about certain communist regime?
All communist regimes are shit. What?
Yeah.
No, I've been spraying this around quite a bit. That there's a fucking CCP fucking element to this. Propaganda works both ways, and wouldn't be surprised if they had a hand in a lot of the organisation with this. And well, fucking there you go, it's Antifa. They got their own communist wing.
They may be funded partially by China. I don't know. MC would know more about that kind of stuff. I don't have time to research things. I go by.
See, I like to remember that you don't need a formal conspiracy when interests converge.
Well, exactly. It doesn't have to be necessarily something that's written on a paper. All right, people can work together without being told exactly what to do.
Right.
You have for example, you had Lois Lerner. All right, defund all the Tea Party, asking for the 510. What was it? The status, the tax status, right?
Yeah.
Of the Tea Parties, all right, where she was denying their statuses. She did that completely on her own. She didn't have to be told by Obama to do it.
Right. Because
Okay.
the interests converged.
Right. She already knew what to do it on her own.
Yeah.
This is the same thing with Antifa. These guys now they do talk a bit about how to do things, but they're actual on the ground. No, you go to the universities. The local university is where you'll find the local chapter, all right, of Antifa and how they're being plotted.
Yep.
Now, do the professors talk to one another about how they do things? Yes, they do, but it's not some kind of overall arcing, this is how we do this. The funding, however, all right, that they all put themselves in touch with the main funder, and there's a few main DNC-style funders that take care of this stuff. Media Matters is just one type of an organization that's funded under those umbrella groups.
Well, it's not like Acorn disappeared.
No.
No, they just renamed themselves. They rebranded. And that's what goes on with these guys. And yet, there are foreign elements involved in a lot of this horse shit.
Absolutely. I mean, seriously, they're not getting together and having meetings in dark rooms with secret handshakes and all of that. They're out there in the open just talking to each other.
Oh yeah, dude.
But they're in an environment where no one questions them. The university, as MC pointed out.
Well, not just there. The FBI.
Yeah.
The FBI shows just how fucking blind they are. Just recently with this whole Flynn debacle.
Yep.
Like, what? You guys are so comfortable with putting people into gotcha situations that you act like it's a tactic. What are you talking about?
See, we really need, federally, we need to close down a bunch of agencies.
Oh, yes.
We need to get rid of the redundancy, I want to get rid of the FBI, actually, because as far as I'm concerned, the name is tainted at this point.
You know, you have to get rid of it. You have to remove the FBI.
You have to what?
That's one group that I would definitely. You have to end the FBI.
Yes.
The FBI.
The FBI's mandate was supposed to be temporary, and they just never stopped.
It's what it is doing. All right, is way beyond what it should have been. There was a need for it at one point. All right, but the reality is that the states themselves can work together to handle some of this stuff.
But there are.
If you have a U.S. Marshal Service, that's all you.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I would get rid of the FBI, ATF, IRS, DEA.
The only way you're going to be able to get rid of,
what's that?
The only way you're going to get rid of the IRS is if you get rid of the tax code.
Yeah, I know. I have a plan for that, but that's not for here and now. No, seriously. Arthur and I are working on a series of amendments that will never get ratified because they are amendments that are in service to the people.
Well, one of the amendments that I would sit up there and ratify right now would be the term limits. But I would expand it to term limits.
Actually, we have a different idea on that, but it serves kind of the same purpose.
1 6
But anyway,
term.
No, I would say get rid of all those federal law enforcement agencies and keep some of the experts from each agency and just fold them into the U.S. Marshals.
From the law enforcement group, yes.
Yeah.
All right. The other thing you got to do though is you got to redo the legislation because there's too much freaking legislation. All right, that is out there right now. That
we have something for that too.
Which they're supposed to be taking care of that they don't need to be taken care of, and that becomes a problem in and of itself.
What about the CIA?
We need
an intelligence agency.
We need to just.
You can't have a single intelligence agency. You don't want that. So having the CIA is fine. Having the NSA is fine, but you got to put back the barriers that were there prior to all that stuff.
I think we need to dissolve and replace the CIA, and we need to make some very strict and direct limitations on what they are and are not allowed to do.
Oh, it's simple. The limitations are already there. We call it the Bill of Rights.
Well, what I'm more interested in on that line of thinking is like, well, the element that used to deal with the DEA, for example, will they still be allowed to go into other countries like in South America and stuff like that?
Well, that's what I'm saying, because it's not just that the CIA has done stuff inappropriately in America, because they have. It's also, what did they do in Iran? What did they do? You know what I mean?
Vietnam.
What did they do in Vietnam? There's all kinds of questions you can ask about the CIA doing things internationally. And at this point, if they're using those same fucked up, crazy tactics on Americans again, and now they're doing it aggressively and overtly, because it looks like they've been passing around some crazy, insane, obviously false shit and acting like it's real. And that's really dangerous for the American people.
Then they need to go away.
And this has kind of been like a trend of really stupid and dangerous fucking shit that the CIA has done. And it's been too long with the CIA being the way it is. And I really do think it just needs to be replaced.
Well, yeah. See, the problem with an outfit like the CIA is that people make the mistake of thinking the director of the CIA is the top dog. The director's not the top dog, because that's an appointed position. That changes with an administration. The top dog is the second, third, or fourth place down the ladder,
Mhm.
who's been there for years and has earned their place and knows all the shit. That's who you have to watch and who you have to be worried about.
And those people are completely unaccountable.
Exactly. Except under Arthur in my Reconstitution of the United States. We're actually writing one.
Oh.
Well,
You're going to rewrite the Constitution. Right?
we're not rewriting it as much as we are adding our amendments to it and altering the structure a little bit. We're doing it for a book.
I have a question for Tema, though. All right, Tema. See, the libertarian and ANCAP in me says, yeah, we need to kill the CIA. Why are they meddling in others' business? But the more pragmatic side that came about lately is like, wait a minute. We end the CIA. We no longer have any spy network around the world, and we're just waiting for somebody to fuck us over.
Well, no, we still
You
need an
replace
intelligence agency.
You replace
You get with what?
Well, this is where I was going with my question before, is that, like, specifically with the DEA, for example, is that we get a lot of information and intelligence that, by technicality, since it's the Navy that usually goes and intercepts it, it's military intelligence in some cases. Like, if they're going to be amalgamated into a service that's just inside of the United States and they can't go into, say, places like South America, well, there goes an intelligence stream that we used to have.
Well, no, and like even our allies spy on us. The Israelis got the nuclear weapon by stealing it from us, right?
Yeah, of course they're allies.
Well, whatever.
But
I
yeah,
guess we're supposed to say Zionists are good because I really don't. I don't like end time shit. I really don't.
I don't care
Oh, I
about any of
know.
that
That's not
stuff.
what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, that shows me that we need an intelligence network.
We do.
Well, yeah.
It's
What
a
I'm
necessary-
saying is we need to remove the concept of thinking of it as the CIA. We need to take the CIA and make that not a thing because there's so much animosity and
It
there's
needs
so
an
much.
overhaul.
It needs another name.
Well, again, the name itself is polluted.
So
But,
that
in-
needs to
in
be
addition to
resolved and it
changing the
needs to
name-
be restructured.
In addition to changing the name, we got to figure out who the bad actors are and remove them as well.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean by restructured. Is it needs to be it needs to be overhauled and it needs to get a new name because
Needs an enema.
It needs to have a fresh start because it isn't that important to our country. I agree with you guys. That's why I keep saying replace it. Replace the name.
Okay. Here's another simple question. How does changing one's name change one's character? Because
That's why-
rebranding is still the same thing. Prince was still Prince even when he was a symbol.
Yes, but if you're
Which-
talking about the CIA, you're talking about the dirty deeds. And if you're talking about whatever the new department is called, you're talking about the restructured and cleaned out deeds.
Yes, we're talking about giving the agency an enema.
It would be
Rather,
the,
we're
it would
really
be the
talking about-
obvious way to drain the swamp.
Yes. We're talking about giving the infrastructure, not just that one agency, but the whole infrastructure an enema. Get rid of all the people who are up to bad things. And
All the unethical things.
yes. And
Okay,
yes,
who
sometimes
gets
that's
to-
going to be hard to figure out too.
Who's going to be the one deciding that?
It depends on their
See?
theater of operation.
Yeah. It may be up to the military. It may be up to some sort of foreign intelligence committee.
This kind of seems like it can spiral into a kangaroo court real bloody quick.
It can. We have to be very careful about some of this stuff. I mean, we
Yeah.
can't just go in and say, all right, Tom, you're out. Bob, get in there. See what you can do.
Well, I
You know.
think it may kind of happen naturally just throughout the process of Barr's investigations.
Well, maybe, but I'll tell you another way for it to happen naturally is for us to start teaching civics again.
Oh, yeah.
No,
And if-
no, no, no,
We have
no.
to-
No, wait a minute. I think I'm going to the worst possible place. But you want to end the CIA? What do they replace it with? What do they replace it with? Who gets to be in charge? You know what I'm thinking? NSA's still fucking there.
Well, the NSA, you have to tackle the Patriot Act, and that's a whole other beast we're going to have to face and walk through.
The Patriot Act is an issue, but the NSA is not the problem. I keep trying to explain that to you guys. The purpose of the NSA. The NSA is military intelligence specifically. If you put back the rules back, if you put the rules back in place, it wouldn't be an issue.
Well,
Ultimately, it doesn't matter what the agency is.
we really
Shit
don't need
needs to be cleaned out.
Yeah, and we really don't need to be keeping the nation's cat videos on servers. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Well,
is
no.
fucking
The
stupid.
the idea of storage is an issue, but I've said that how many different damn times.
Well, it's just you don't need to keep this information. It's none of your goddamn business, government.
Well, no,
Well,
and MC is actually given way on this issue quite a bit, actually.
The government just wants free porn.
Well, you're missing the point, you see. At least, now definitely that the NSA has got all your fucking YouTube videos. So when YouTube finally does strike us all down, delete our shit, we can always go, well, hey, NSA, give us a copy of that shit so we can re-upload it.
Yeah, but then you got to fill out a Freedom of Information Act request form, and then you got to specify exactly which videos. Then you got to pay a fee for the paperwork. It's a fucking bullshit.
Well, but at least you get your channel back.
You could just upload your shit to BitChute.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a lot easier than going through fucking YouTube, trust me.
Oh, that's true. That is absolutely true.
All right, so the CIA gone. You replace it with the American Foreign Intelligence
Service.
Okay.
Yes.
That's fine. Isn't the Space Force kind of the new NASA if Trump gets its way with it?
Space.
No.
Isn't he kind of doing the rebranding here? Also there?
No, because
Right.
NASA just assisted in the launching for Elon Musk's commercial flight. That's the only
I
launching
watched
pad.
it. We had the kids watch it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
did too. Yeah, but I'm saying no, Space Force is going to be something totally different. Don't be surprised if we start doing a lot more launches all of a sudden. Like as soon as the economy picks back up, don't be surprised within the next couple of years you see a bunch of launches.
Oh, that's good. Just because the gold are on the march.
Well,
No.
might be, man. Who knows?
Well, the difference between NASA and the Space Force is NASA is more of still research and development and all that kind of stuff, the science side of things, whereas the Space Force is supposed to be more an administrative kind of deal as opposed to, researching anything.
I thought Space Force was supposed to literally be people that could go into space. And
Space Force
military-
is so we can have people punch the aliens with laser guns.
Well, at the moment, it's mainly that robot little baby space shuttle they keep throwing up into space, seeing what it does, then bring it back.
What I would do with the Space Force is fairly simple. Set up a satellite network, identify any incoming asteroids, draw up plans on how to redirect any that would wipe us out, and start building prototypes and start testing shit on smaller asteroids and create a planetary defense grid.
Well, hold on a second. I got to say some things. First of all, it's a real bad idea to combine the NSA into the CIA and have a single intelligence agency. Okay? That's a mistake because it's given them way too much power, all right, within a single group. The second thing is from the bearded bastard. Why does everyone say the NSA and the CIA? What about the DIA, the ISC, the OIC? Well, the reason is because technically, while they sound like really big agencies and everything, in reality, they're not. What you're looking
three guys
at,
sharing a desk.
what they are collators that take data, all right, that is sent to them from the three intelligence agencies that we have. The three intelligence agencies that actually collect data, All right, and go through the first analysis of it is the NSA, the CIA, and the FBI.
Okay,
Now-
well then why do we have those other agencies? Shouldn't we just get rid of them? That's rather superfluous and fucking useless.
To an extent, yes, they are superfluous because they're groups that were created directly under the administration to try and figure out ways to collate different data at different times.
Okay,
The problem has always been whenever something goes wrong in the world, everyone looks at the intelligence agency and goes, why didn't you warn us about this? Well, we were focused on this over here or XYZ over here, so we missed this. So the solution has always been, well, let's get another group that can take care of that and look at it.
No, you just need to refine how you do it. You put it under one agency and you have departments that do it.
If you put it under one agency, what's going to happen is that you won't know what's going on, and you think the abuse now is bad. The abuse now is bad mainly because they broke the walls between these agencies. There were very strict rules that the NSA had and couldn't share data with the FBI or share data with the CIA. Those barriers have been dropped. If you stick everything directly under a single intelligence agency, what you're saying is that, well, we're going to make things worse. We're not going to have any barriers at all to this sharing of data collection. And you're never going to know what they're doing or what they're listening to.
I'm just talking about collating it. I'm not talking about anything else.
Oh, well, you're not talking about the collection issues. Okay. Well,
no.
That's okay. They could just do with like a DIA, and that could be the end of it. Or they could just have just what they used to do, which is each group would do their own briefings to the president.
Or you just do, Department of Intelligence Aggregation. And that's all they do is aggregate intelligence.
You could do that, but I do think that a lot of those other groups, like you said, that there's too many of them. But what'll happen is somebody will say they missed something, and they're going to complain. Well, it's because of this, so someone else will come up with the idea of creating another department. Do we need to clean it up? Yeah. Will it stay that way for very long? Probably not.
Well, that's where you have to be. What do you call it? Vigilant.
Well, a whole bunch of these need to be shrunken down, and then there needs to be a department that deals with
the Department of Redundancy Department.
No, one that deals specifically with internet espionage.
Ah, yes.
Because that is a very fast-moving, ever-changing thing.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. If you don't understand, hold on a second. If you don't understand Bitter Bastards, when we're talking about aggregators, what I'm talking about is they're taking the raw intelligence, or they're taking the intelligence that's provided by the big three, and they're collating them for whatever needs that they are. All right. They're not. In a sense, okay. They themselves do not develop intelligence. They're just analysts. All right. They're analysts for whatever area that they're looking at.
They're usually translators or transcribers, or they collate pictures in order and stuff like that. They don't actually do anything. They're like paper pushers. Well,
they're analysts. They take the data and they say, okay, this is what we believe it means when I take this group of intelligence and this amount of intelligence, and this is how I see things. Anyway, what were you going to say, Matt? I'm sorry for interrupting.
Okay. Two things. One, President Trump said that he was going to help businesses and Americans after the riots. Is he talking a third stimulus? I really hope not, because our economy is going to be dead on arrival. And then there's a second thing there, but I want your answer on that one first.
I understand. About the economy.
What do you think? Is he going to make a third fucking... He already signed the second stimulus. Is he going to do a third? What's he mean he's going to help Americans and businesses? What's that mean?
I don't know. I don't know what you're referring to there. What he's going to say. We'll have to wait.
Speech. You didn't watch his speech?
He is not a king. All right? There's got to be legislation. Until you have legislation, speculating is useless.
Yep.
Doesn't he own his own construction mob and all that shit?
No. Well, there are certain things that are given to him, but no, the Congress controls the purse string. And more specifically, when it comes to spending bills, only the House can initiate a spending bill.
Well,
then really,
sorry. Yeah, just real quick. Since it's a state of emergency, wouldn't this come under just some sort of simple disaster bill?
Nope. It has to go through channels. It's the checks and balances of our system.
then really much that I've been adding to this, so I'm just going to hop off now in case someone else wants to join and they can, well, do more than I have.
Okay, Yorkie.
Fine.
Are you sure, bro?
All right.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's probably
So
getting late for him too because he's overseas.
Yeah, it's 6:20.
I'm underseas.
Go to bed.
He's not overseas. You're overseas.
Anyway, take care, guys.
I'm
Bye-bye.
slightly to
Yeah.
the side of seas.
Well, no, and you guys.
It's literally overseas for both of you. You live on fucking islands.
Islands in the stream. That is what we are.
And
What?
sure, I get the fact that we want to end, everything from the Department of Education to corn subsidies. I understand, right there with you. But as much as I hate roads, people are fucking shit up, and they don't seem to be stopping. So, how long until the troops are activated?
20 minutes.
Well, Trump had a grab your nutsacks, boys and girls, and step up and do your jobs. Be a fucking adult speeches. Trump called the governors weak because they wouldn't call in the National Guard and take back their cities. And he wasn't wrong to do so.
Absolutely. Now I did watch the space launch. Let's have a lighter note here. First one in almost 10 years, right?
It was the very first privately built commercial
Space, the
space launch.
final frontier.
So this is this is like a Brave New World kind of thing.
It's
Not like the book, though.
oh, sorry.
No, I was just saying, not like the book, just like actually like a Brave New World. This is because it's commercial, so it's going to go fast.
Nah, did you see the inside of that thing? That was pretty sweet. Pretty
Yeah.
yeah.
I have not seen the inside.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
What's more significant is it's the first American human-rated launch system since the space shuttle, which is about 18 years ago now.
Yeah. It's been like a decade almost since we've had anything that could go into space. And
Yeah.
in that time, Elon Musk has come up with a reusable system that he can commercialize. It is his and his alone.
There's been 3 of them. This has actually been a race that's been going on for a bit like a decade now.
Brad
And
said he's got one too. Then he keeps failing. He can't get it going.
there's Elon's, there's Boeing, and I think there's Blue Origin or some shit like that. Elon won. Oh, there you go.
Is he really a genius, or does he hire good people?
He really is a genius. He's just not a rocket scientist. What he is he's a genius that finds other really talented people.
Yeah.
Well,
he's
they're able
a-
to. He's able to do this low level, all right, in orbit insertion, which it is impressive. All right, the landings and everything that they've gone has been quite impressive. However, the larger Dragon capsule rockets are having issues. In fact, they blew up another one last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's smart and everything, but he's not Tony Stark.
No,
Yeah,
he's not.
what he is he's no brainiac, but he's just got enough money to have enough brainiacs to be really good at one specific subject.
No,
Right.
actually, it's just he's really good at finding the right people that are motivated to work with him to come to an end that's going to be successful.
Yeah.
Because he's doing Starlink right now too.
Doesn't he want to go to Mars? Think he'll
Who
do
doesn't?
it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think he'll do it in his lifetime, but I think he'll get close.
I mean, let's face it. The reason we want so badly to explore space is because we're tired of the society we're in. It's turning to shit, and we want off the goddamn planet.
I don't think it's that. I think it's
Well, it's part of the human spirit, really.
yeah. We want the adventure. That's why they went out in the middle of the ocean. Like, that's a death trap. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Well, what do you
mean,
think the westward expansion was, man?
I mean, there's just nothing left to explore.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
actually, there is, but people are
there's-
just, they don't want to try it. It's really, really scary to go down. It's much, much less scary to go up.
Yeah. But my point is, I'm not talking about the professionals and the experts and the people with the pressure suits. I'm talking about just the regular people. It used to be regular people would go out, the pioneers, and pioneer this new territory and all of that good stuff. We can't do that anymore as a
we can.
species.
You can still do that in Alaska. There's actually homestead laws in Louisiana, which I didn't know. That was
really?
interesting to find out.
Still, everyone knows where everything's at, if you know what I mean. Everything's mapped is what I'm getting at. There's, it's that whole Alexander wept when he, or was it Asmodeus? No,
it was
Alexander wept when he found out there are no lands to conquer or something like that.
Right.
Osmandius was the one who, I am Osmandius. Look upon my works in despair, or something like that. King of Kings.
Okay,
I forget all the fucking references. I never read this shit.
This is a weird pivot, but it's just a thought, and maybe it's because I'm stoned. But all right, I heard that on that island with the crazy natives that you're not allowed to go to, that there was a case of CVID. One, how did they find that out? And two, how did it get there if they did find that out?
They got there because they ate the people who invaded.
I think you'll find it's a bit of a bullshit story.
Yeah,
I thought so. What the fuck?
Or the dolphins loaded hypodermics into their blowguns.
So CIA dolphins that they had during the Cold War, they got out.
He's got a point.
It was because of the fucking.
They're gonna go plant bombs.
No, they're just running around skewering scuba divers.
They were chemtrailed by Bill Gates and the penguins.
Oh yeah, I got another picture, MC. The Easter Rising, a little picture of a penguin just glancing out from behind a building.
Yeah.
But no, I think the Space Force itself, if I was going to create something like that, it wouldn't be a planetary thing. They would be able to go up into space. They would be building the prototypes to protect Earth itself, because we have a lot of large objects coming near us lately. Haven't you noticed, Tema? Isn't that crazy?
They've been coming near us forever, but it's just now that we can notice them.
Yeah, there's more CCTV out there. There's more dash cams. There's more people with cameras on their phones and all this kind of stuff. There's just more eyes out there. And
People with cameras on their telescopes, for Christ's sake.
No, this fucker is huge. That's going to circle back around.
Okay, so what happened was, before Obama, you heard a lot about what was going on in space, didn't you? When you were a kid, when you were younger, I think when you were especially younger, you would hear a lot of stories on the news talking about pictures that they got back from Hubble, especially. That was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we heard about space a lot because we had a funded space program. Yep. When Obama got into office, he defunded them. We no longer had a space program. We had an outreach program. And the only thing they were allowed to study was global warming.
Oh, yeah. Plus, Iran needed money in cash.
So NASA took it to the nuts, and so did all of our space programs across the board. And as soon as Trump came in, he said, oh, look, and that's why they keep bitching about him being a big spender. And he's actually not. I mean, with inflation and everything else we're doing on top of it, technically he's not. He's just putting the funding back for the programs that had it initially.
Yeah. Still think he needs to defund a bunch of agencies, but that's me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that a lot of the federal agencies need to be reduced to begin with. I think that they should right now issue a across the board 2% drop in the entire budgets of the federal government across the board, and then say, okay, for every year will be a 1% drop until we achieve parity.
You don't even have to do that. Rand Paul had his penny plan, and it would work. The numbers worked. In less than 10 years, we would have been out of debt. Now it's a
No,
lot.
that's nonsense, because that assumes a static model as well. You have to make a commitment to say, look, you're going to have to reduce this until you achieve parity. The idea of saying, well, 10 years from now in a Congress that's 8 years out, all right, they won't change anything and we'll just do this penny thing. That's nonsense. The fact is that there's too much waste in the federal government, and money into the federal government is power. You've got to reduce federal power. How do you do that? You defund it. How do you defund it? You cut it.
Yep.
Well, the gentlest way to do this is to start cutting administrators.
Well, like I said, you need to start off the bat saying, okay, every department has to start taking cuts. Will the top administrator get cut? No, because that's never going to happen. But what they will start doing is they'll start getting rid of people.
Yep.
Okay, I don't know. I keep trying to get out of the weeds and make a lighter topic like space, but we keep going back into the weeds. So fine. We'll chill there. What's your plan? Then, I mean, you say scale it back, but you don't say by how much. You don't say what departments. You don't say what you scale up. Because I know
What
you're
did
going
I
to
say?
scale up the military.
What did I say? I said you start at 1%, 2% immediate reduction across the board on all departments, and then you do a 1%
Even
reduction.
military?
Everybody gets hit, including the military.
Yep.
The military will have to restructure some things. That's
Treated equally under law.
I understand that, but you've got to sit up there and say 1% pay cut and or 2% to start with, and then a 1% pay cut across the board. And you keep on doing it until the departments can figure out how to deal with the situation, all right, until you achieve parity. Because the federal government is way too large right now. Now, as far as certain agencies that I would love to see cut, obviously, I'd like to see the OSHA no longer needs to exist. Bye. The DEA, to be honest, doesn't need to exist. Nor does the FDA, for the most part. You reduce those drastically. All right. The EPA, wipe it out. All right. The Department of Education, wipe it out. The FCC. Well, you're gonna have to scale the FCC way back. All right.
I
The
think
FCC has certain things that it's necessary.
Well, no, this is what I would do. The Senate. Okay, so I would have a constitutional amendment. You can no longer vote on your own pay raise or what you get paid. What happens is the Senate decides what the House gets paid and vice versa. And then vice versa for the president and the Supreme Court.
Oh,
and
like they wouldn't be in a back room giving each other hand jobs.
You're going to see a lot of $1 salaries, and you're going to see a lot of part-time politicians again. And
see them
that'd
now.
be a great way to force it.
This sucks. I got to tell you, this sucks because you're talking about stuff that Arthur and I have already addressed, but it's stuff that we're putting into our book. So I can't really throw these ideas out there because we have an agreement not to discuss them until we have the book ready to go.
Damn it.
God damn it.
Oh, well, I better pin
No, it's
something
fine. I mean, it's good.
No,
to
I'm
bandy-
going to pin something tonight and get it published real quick on Amazon.
No, it's good to get these ideas out there and get people talking about them because we do need to find ways to essentially unfuck the system. The system has been bastardized and mutated to the point that it no longer looks American.
So
we need to look at the Constitution as a system restore point and press the button.
So, Tema, I know you were going through some stuff. You haven't been around lately. Glad to see you're back. You gonna be doing stuff on your own channel again, or what?
No, I'm still in the middle of like doing a bunch of crap. I was just taking the weekend off and then
Yeah, I remember the first time I was bitten by a radioactive spider.
Well, anyway, unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave here in a little bit. So,
Well, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. We've been going almost 2.5 hours, so
Sweet Jesus.
yeah. So thank you everybody for coming out. I appreciate the super chats tonight. It was awesome. Thank you. If you're in a big city, stay the fuck indoors. All right, it's the best place for you. If they try to break your door down, hey, I'm not gonna tell you not to stop firing or to stop firing. You know, whatever. Do what you need to do, but don't go out there. Don't cause problems. Don't try and put yourself in harm's way unless you're in a group protecting property, or your property or your business. We're out of here. Good night.
Good night.
good night, everybody.
Stay